Now, some of the biggest names in the music business have joined forces to launch the first ever artist-owned streaming service. The rapper and music mogul Jay-Z unveiled his newly acquired company Tidal as a competitor to existing services like Spotify, or with support from the likes of Madonna and Kanye West. Well, who wasn't there? Jay-Z's service will cost users between $9.99 and $19.99 a month, depending on the quality of the music. Spotify is the industry leader and charges $9.99 a month for access to 30 million tracks. Both offer free trials, but Spotify, crucially, also offers a free service with adverts. Well, with me here in the studio now is Helienne Lindvall, songwriter, musician and columnist for The Guardian and Digital Music News. Also in the studio with me is music industry journalist Eamonn Ford. Many thanks to you both for joining me here in the studio. Helienne, if I can turn to you first as a musician, what do you make of this? Because the hype around Tidal is that this is a service for the musician.
Well, I think it's a positive step. Of course, we'll have to wait and see what happens with the royalty payments, but I have to say, as a musician, there's been a lot of unrest in the community about the services that are out there and how little they pay. And there's a worry that a lot of VCs are just going in to make a quick return on their money on a big IPO, and basically artists and songwriters are subsidizing their big trade-off. And I think that with these musicians, hopefully, it's not just about their money, but it's about creating something that is by musicians for musicians.
Because are you on Spotify, can I ask?
Yes, I am.
You are. And what sort of revenues have you had from it?
Well, see, the thing is that the published rates that Spotify always try to...
Isn't it, supposedly?
Well, 70% of what? That is the thing, because obviously 3/4 of their users are on the ad-funded side. And on the ad-funded free service, at least for us songwriters, there is no minimum. So it could be like a tenth. Usually it's about a tenth of what you get for the paid streaming rate, from the paid streaming rates, and even those are not great. So
I've read figures like from one stream you get sort of 0.06 cents or something. So
yeah, I mean it fluctuates, but it's certainly. You know, you won't be able to survive on it.
Well, Eamonn, let's bring you in here, because Helienne put a finger on it there, in that we're yet to really know about the royalty situation of Tidal.
Yeah.
But as we say, the buzz is this is for the artist, it's going to give them a better deal than the likes of Spotify. Mm-hmm. As we were saying, Spotify claims to give its artists 70% of its revenues per stream, and yet it still doesn't make a profit. Its margins are incredibly tight.
Yeah.
So how on earth is Tidal going to be a successful business venture and give its artists more than the likes of Spotify?
That's the tricky bit, because pretty much everybody here in the digital space, with the exception of Apple and YouTube, are hemorrhaging money left, right and centre. So the margins are really, really tight. So I guess it's about the last service standard, because this is the way the markets go, and this is, you could be King Canute and kind of reel against the raging of the tide, but you're not going to kind of stop the way that people are consuming music. But actually monetizing that is incredibly difficult, because it's down to kind of fractions of pennies. It's transferring, it's kind of taking in not huge amounts of money as well, and you have to reach scale. They talk about reaching scale, and then it'll all start to make sense, but nobody's actually got there yet. But I think the interesting thing about Tidal is that it's a collective of major artists. Lots of people who complain that it's just multi-millionaires lining their pockets further. But I think the long play within this, if I'm being optimistic or quixotic about this, is about proper unionisation of artists within the digital community, which I think is really, really important. At the moment, everything's been driven by VCs and technologists, and now you've actually got artists stepping forward, and that will put them at the centre of the debate, which I think has been a long time coming. And I think hopefully that these major artists will kind of act like Trojan horses, and that will benefit the new artists, the emerging artists, who are the ones that really, really need the income. So hopefully that will level the playing field a little bit for the artist community.
So that it will trickle down from the likes of Madonna and Jay-Z. Yeah. Helienne, I can see you nodding away there.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I completely agree. And I think that the thing is, what Tidal, and from what I understand, what they will do, they will have exclusives, and it will make it different from some of the other services, which has been missing so far, because if you look at something like Spotify, the free ad-funded service is exactly the same as the same songs and everything as the paid-for service, and the ads on the free service are quite non-intrusive. Most of them are actually for other artists, so it's not that disturbing, and people.
And that's the problem, isn't it? And as you say, that service is free. The deluxe option, if you like, from Tidal is going to cost almost $20 a month. That's quite a lot. Who's going to pay for that?
Well, it doesn't. I don't think that is again something, a choice, that people will have. I think that probably the majority of people will go for the $10/£10 or €10 version of it. But it is still, because it is not being dragged down by this free service that is just hemorrhaging the money that Eamonn is talking about.
So you're both quite positive about it?
I think so. It's certainly
cautiously positive.
Yeah, it's a step in the right direction. I think artists need to be centre stage in this.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. Many thanks to you both for your thoughts, Eamonn Ford there and Helienne Lindvall. Many thanks.
Thank you.